Savage. Real talk, no filter on Savaged Unfiltered. Savaged.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in. Thanks for sticking around. Joining us here on X and other platforms. Appreciate it. Guys, this show is basically being sponsored by a great company. Hydration for any occasion. That's right, guys. With 3 times the electrolytes of any leading sports drink. I'm talking about your Powerade. I'm talking about your Gatorade, right? I'm talking about all these supposedly sports drinks that are boost with electrolytes, which I think is full. They're full of shit.
They're mostly sugar. Yeah.
Yeah, mostly sugar, Joe. Yeah. This is actually a healthy sports drink. And I'm finding a lot of people drinking it, from sports athletes to on-air personalities, right? Whether they're podcasters or talk radio hosts, including just your average day Joe, right? Pick up Liquid IV, guys, and you're going to find out why by scanning this QR code and trying them out today. Thank you very much, Liquid IV.
I didn't know I was drinking it. I've been drinking it. The average Joe's been drinking it. I didn't.
Have you? I don't know.
I just do plain water.
Oh, plain water.
At any rate. And for those who were here with us in the break, Michael talks about us being on X. Well, I had a bout of insomnia last night, so I'm even wackier than normal because I've got no sleep. He's on X. I'm on Z.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't laugh because the coffee didn't sink in yet. It's getting there. It's getting there. So as we bring this guest in, Christopher Perry, he's got this show called Friends. I don't want to say the whole thing because I don't want to butcher it. I'd rather have it come from him. Christopher Perry and Friends. Almost sounds like a Barney show, but we're going to find out. Anyway, without further ado, let's bring him in. This is Christopher Perry here on the Savage Unfiltered show. Welcome in, Christopher.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. And it's the Kid and Friends podcast.
Kid and Friends. I knew there was friends in it.
I actually really was enjoying listening to Peter. It kind of took me back to when I was a kid, when cable first came out, and it reminded me of a conversation I had with my son a few weeks ago. He's like, "What were Saturday mornings like?" Because Peter had mentioned TBS and wrestling, and I said, well, we would get up at the crack of dawn. We would go sit in front of the TV, watch cartoons till about 11 o'clock. WWF wrestling came on, and then it was Black Belt Theater for a couple hours, and then straight to TBS wrestling. Like, listening to Joe really took me back to when I was a kid. So when you messaged me and said, hey, needed a few more minutes, I was enjoying the show, so I did not mind that at all.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Christopher, because most people, even in the business, from a fellow podcaster to another, the patience level would basically thin out after 10 minutes. All right, let's reschedule. But I appreciate the patience. Thanks very much.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting topic, so I didn't mind listening at all.
Well, since there's friends in his podcast name and the name is Perry, are you relation at all to Matthew Perry or Joe Perry, the guitarist?
Nothing at all.
Steve Perry, the singer? No.
Yeah, again, and I'll give you a little history on myself. I had another podcast with 2 guys where we did 500 episodes. And they were on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, on every show. And we started in 2009. And we went up until the beginning of this year, and I decided, like, hey, I'm going to go off on my own. And my hashtag's always been poor man's Joe Rogan, because I'm a second degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I own a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school. I do MMA commentary. I've had a podcast, and I have none of the money. So that's where that hashtag came from. And at the beginning of this year, I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go out on my own and start really talking to people. And what it really was me being selfish, because I wanted to meet interesting people and learn stuff. And so now I'm getting to talk to just people I want to talk to and kind of do like micro learning is kind of the best way to describe it, where I get to talk to people like yourselves, and you guys get to do the same thing, where somebody can give me a crash course on whatever their topic is. And I don't have to do a whole lot of research. And for me, it's interesting to have the conversation and learn on the spot versus a straight up interview. And you guys kind of have that same vibe where you let the conversation go wherever it'll
You
go.
and I are exactly alike on my Constitutionalist Politics podcast. I broke out to now Wednesdays having guests, and I do exactly that. I do zero, well, enough research to know, okay, yeah, I want to have them
Yeah.
on. But beyond that, I don't want to know anything. That way, it's a nice, free-flowing conversation rather than the scripted, usual garbage.
And have you seen the movie Fight Club? There's a scene in the movie where he's on the plane and he's talking about single serving friends. And that's the kind of approach I give, where you meet somebody and you might have a conversation with for 5-10 minutes and never ever meet that person again, but get a ton out of it and appreciate the moment and have that single serving friend. And we may never meet again, but we're gonna have a great conversation.
Well,
I don't know
I
how
say, yeah, hold
great
on,
it's
Joe.
going to be because Michael's involved, but
Yeah, this is
Sorry.
what he does. This is what he does. Like when I talk, he just like, no, I'm no. What I say is, the best podcasting formula, I think, is improv. Like if you know how to kind of go along with it and not reading off of a typical script like old talk
Yeah.
radio, I find that to be the most excellent form of podcasting today. Just go along with it. You never know where it's going to go. Don't be afraid to go off the rails. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid of saying something wrong because, hey, it may draw attention to the right individual. People may be
for
into
sure.
that, so.
And in my old podcast, people used to describe as you're out to dinner and the people at the table next to you are having a better conversation. And
Of
that
course.
that was exactly the way I wanted it to be, because I like meeting people. And if I know too much about you, then I don't need to ask a lot of questions. And that's kind of where that starts with me.
and that makes for bad radio. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you know too much, then it's like, well, what do I want? And since you want to explore other stuff, but the
Yes.
guests, your listeners need to hear that. I still always start with
Yeah.
as we did, the traditional question. I joke, cue the who, right? Who are you? Right, your background,
I'm sure
and then
there's
from
times
there.
like you've had and I've had where I'll get a guest who's so hell bent on just talking about whatever they want to talk about that the conversation becomes awkward and they can't flow with the conversation. Those
Yeah.
are, I think, are the toughest ones.
Yeah, kind of like Joe when he overtalks me sometimes. I'll shut up. I'll mute my mic probably for 5 minutes, and I'm like, I'll come back in. All right, Joe, you
Well,
done?
that was why I was
Joe,
glad I
hello,
jumped
I'm
on
here.
early. I was glad I jumped on a half hour early by accident, and then I just decided to stay and watch. And for me, it was interesting to watch the vibe that you guys have, and it's easier for me as a guest to jump on the conversation. And between my other show, 500 episodes, and my new one, I think I have 52 2-hour interviews on all the major platforms. I've never been a guest on anyone's show. This is my first time.
Yeah, same here. Peter. Same here, Christopher. I got Peter now stuck in my head. No, I've been on probably maybe 10 podcast shows. In 6 years I've been doing this, and it's not that I don't. Well, I don't have time. Sometimes I do other line of work with movie extra work with all casting productions, but I just it's hard to go on a show because it depends on the formula they're using. Because
Sure.
there's a lot of podcasting today. They still like to run off that old, talk radio formula. And I don't like that. I don't like scripted shit. Joe will vouch for me. I'm not a fan of scripted stuff. I like to just go along with the flow, improv style, sort of like a stand-up comedy set. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And just
that's
go
a
where
skill that's developed. Like, how many episodes do you guys have?
well, I have well over, if you include the bonus episodes from the early days of 2019, I'm up to like almost 700 episodes.
Right, and if you go back and listen to yourselves from the first episodes, it's probably nowhere near what it is now. The quality of
God,
your
no.
voice,
No.
the tone of your voice, the amount of editing you have to do. There's so many different things, and like I'll look back and listen to myself, and I'm like, why didn't anybody even listen to their first one? Like it was garbage.
Yeah. Well, when you're peddling a book, to elaborate on your point, like I'll go on basically any show if they're willing to have me to talk about one of my books, right? But the difference between the shows we're doing and the C-SPAN book notes. Welcome to the book show. Tell us about your book.
Yeah, it's very
Michael Gardner. Uncut.
Yeah. So when you guys reached out, I was like, I'm not an expert on anything, but I'll talk about anything. And when I confirmed last night, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of hooked on the drone thing right now. I got food poisoning on Friday night, and I'm right outside of Philadelphia, so I'm maybe 10 minutes from the Delaware River, and I have people I know all over New Jersey, people I know like up and down the coast. I have friends that have seen a ton of the drones. We had 3 drones over my house the other day. My daughter who lives in Maryland was seeing drones, and I got food poisoning on Friday, and I spent the weekend in bed just watching drone video after drone video because it was just playing in the background.
Oh my
God.
God.
My brain is just full of everything that's going on with that. And it's some craziness. And I feel like you guys could jump into the craziness with me.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the drone stuff, because I mean, I'm hearing different types of assumptions and maybe rumors circulating that. Yeah.
And again, I'm not an expert on it. I've been watching other people's videos. And I was talking to my best friend. He lives in North Carolina. And I said, hey, you know anything about the drones? And he's like, I haven't heard a thing. So you have to be mostly East Coast in the last few weeks to really know about it. And now it's just kind of making its way into the national news. And it started out with people, I think, in Monmouth County, where they were seeing multiple drones at a time. And no one could explain what they were. And then next thing you know, they were popping up in other spots around the state. And I think there's close to like 5,000 sightings at this point, just in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is, Christopher, the government will not fully, I guess, come to the public and explain the presence of these drones. They won't.
Anything.
They won't. I mean,
no,
you see like...
The governor of New Jersey.
There he goes again, Joe.
Yeah, the governor of New Jersey refused to attend a public hearing because he either knows and doesn't want to say anything, or is clueless, which is even worse, and should resign and be fired. But these aren't all misidentified. No doubt some are.
There may be suspicious activity out there as we stand here today, but there is little to no evidence of that right now.
Murphy, someone's got to know what they are.
Yeah, airports don't shut down for known aircraft. They're shutting down airspaces because there are unidentified crafts in their space.
I was watching a video right before I hopped on with you, and there's an Air Force base in Ohio, and I think it's Patrick Air Force Base or something like that.
Yeah.
And that is the head information base for Intel base for the Air Force and SpaceX, and that got shut down last night.
Wait, Christopher, you just said Patrick Air Force Base, right?
Yeah, I believe that was the name of it, but they got shut down.
That's in Florida. That's not in Ohio. Yeah.
Type in Ohio-based drones, and you'll probably find something. I know. I'm not sure if I have the name, but there was a base shut down last night. There was an area, and I think that was in Pennsylvania, where they were flying over the reservoirs the other day. Like there's just so many sightings,
which is a terrorism threat.
Yes, and here's the other thing I heard today on the same video was that there are possibly some nuclear devices missing that the U.S. was trying to ship somewhere, and they're actually looking for those because the materials that they were packaging arrived, but none of the contents arrived.
County.
They just hover. A little bit over there, a little bit over there, a little bit, but they just hover back and forth.
Wharton, New Jersey resident and Terror Talk podcast host Michael B. has spent the past 2 weeks attempting to see what these peculiar-looking light-up moving dots are in the sky with a drone of his own. But so far, he hasn't had any.
So either these things are flying and doing surveys looking for something, or it could be something else. And I'm of the belief that these are our vehicles, not someone else's. Otherwise, we would have taken them
You know
out.
what
But
I think it is? You
they're
know what
not
I think it
interested in
is?
telling us.
Yeah, President Trump made a great point last night. He actually put something on this platform here on X, and his platform on Truth, saying that the government knows what these are. They,
What about the fear at home of the drones?
Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
Will you shoot them down?
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
they can detect where it flew out of, possibly at hangar, but Trump used the term garage, which I think he was referring to like a hangar or some type of military facility. The government knows what these are, okay? Because if it was a national security threat, they would shoot them down. Right.
But then you also have the issue where we had the hot air balloon a few months ago that they didn't do shit about. And now people are putting those two together. Like, well, maybe this is something else we're just backing off of. And I don't think it's that.
The bad leadership we currently have. And I could think of a cover story, and I did. I issued a press release days ago. If they're flying at night, okay, we're studying migrant patterns of nocturnal animals in an urban setting. It's bull, but it's at least a cover story versus
we're not even getting a cover story.
I think it's the next Plan-demic. I really do. It's hysteria to cause people, to go into panic mode like they did with COVID. We have a new president that's going to be sworn in next month. And I like how Trump used the terms. You notice how they're kind of flying around Bedminster, New Jersey? Yeah, guys, that's where all the drones seem to be flying, right over my other resort that I have down there. I don't think I'm going to be taking a vacation in Bedminster anytime soon.
Yeah, and then you're seeing reports of them spraying stuff. Like my son has 3 videos he took the other night of just standing in my driveway with drones over top of the neighborhood. And he said he went inside the house, and when he came back outside, there was a mist in the air. And then I've seen other videos and I'm like, well, great. Now I'm breathing in whatever that might be. And then you're seeing the stuff about the nuclear devices. You're seeing that they might be searching for stuff. I've seen videos where they said they're coming out of the ocean and they're aliens from the ocean and they're going off into space, like they're leaving the planet because something bad's going to happen. There's just so much information that there's no idea where you can start with it to actually get something that's valid.
Well, there is lost nuclear material. We know that from the Soviet collapse days. And a lot of people were selling things off. And it's no doubt we could have lost track of some of that, or a terror group. Iran doesn't have to have a nuclear-tipped missile. All they need is the material for a dirty bomb they could put on a cargo ship and light off the coast. During World War II, the Japanese used the weather patterns to send over firebomb balloons that was kept quiet.
I think all those videos that, Christopher just mentioned here with the alien, possibly alien craft flying out of the water, or drones, or whatever the hell they're labeling it as, you got to love that AI, Christopher. I think it's all AI generated. I think they're full of crap. They're using it for click and bait. I don't think it's real.
It's interesting because you hear that and people are like, I don't know if it's real or not. But like people I know are seeing them every day. And like I have a friend who lives in Monmouth County. He said they're over his house all day and all night, every day for last month. There was a meeting with 200 town mayors last week in New Jersey. Every mayor in the state went
Yeah.
to an event to be
That's-
told.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
Sir, the FBI and our Newark field office, along with the state and local partners there, the Bureau is actively investigating the situation you mentioned, just the unexplained sighting of drone activity over that part of New Jersey. We do not attribute that to an individual or a group yet. We're investigating, but I don't have an answer of who's responsible for that, of one or more people that are responsible for those drone flights. But we're actively investigating.
Be
That's
told
the one
that
the
there's
governor
no information
skipped.
they have for him. Yeah.
Yeah, the governor skipped that on purpose. He was supposed to be there.
Yeah, he's probably going to get chewed up while he's there because he doesn't have any information to share with anyone.
Right. He's
Yeah,
a
why do you
clueless moron.
feel? Why do you feel that they're flying over, parts of New Jersey and
Well,
Pennsylvania,
honestly, the one that
and not
makes the
any other
most
state? They're not
the one
choosing
that
any
makes the
state, though,
most-
Christopher.
Yeah, I mean they're flying over Pennsylvania, they're flying over New Jersey. I think they're over Connecticut. There's been reports of them in California. There's some in I think down by Brazil.
Even here in
And-
Michigan, I'm getting reports.
Yeah,
so-
and they're also talking about there's some drones in the UK, and I thought I saw one with drones in China where they're also in the mix of seeing these things as well.
Yeah,
But it could be a million different
ships.
things.
Yeah, I seen some ships kind of put together. It looked like a puzzle thing going together and everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that's some good fucking AI right there. Shit.
Yeah, and I wish it was AI because then I could fucking sleep a little better at
I
night.
want to believe it's AI. I tell people, I go into these X spaces on Twitter, and they're all neurotic, and they're like, the aliens are coming. They're gonna suck us up. And what do you feel about that? I'm like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't think
Savage,
it's
they don't
alien.
shut down airspace of airports for AI imagined items. And again, now,
the
like I
vibe I
teased
get
at
is
the
that
big-
they're looking for something.
right.
Something,
And
and
again-
it could be something we lost. It could be something somebody placed. It could be anything. But the reason they're not giving us any information is because they don't want us to go to a further panic. And by not giving us information, they're
They
causing
know.
people to panic.
Well,
they
no,
know what
that-
it is.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's where you invent a cover story. You
Sure.
don't just say, oh, we're clueless. Like Murphy, I believe he's clueless, but somebody somewhere knows.
They
And
know, Joe.
there needs to be a cover story. And it's like I said
Yeah.
at the very beginning before this episode started, if a lot of it may be misidentified stuff,
Oh,
but
for
even
sure.
if 1% of it is truly unidentified flying objects, that doesn't mean interstellar beings or
Right.
interdimensional beings, or as I
Right,
call
or
time
an enemy.
travelers, interdimensional beings, but it's something. You've got to come up with a cover story.
I like how Alex Jones is kind of going back and forth, and I mean I like Alex Jones. I really do. I do. I like when he's delivering positive news and content. But now he's on this hysteria with the drones. He's going back and forth. Alex, stop it, man.
An extremely important response to the drone hysteria taking place across the United States right now. There is no mystery. The mystery is solved. These are drones. These are human-made. The Pentagon knows exactly where they're coming from, where they're going. Mystery of the UAV drone hysteria solved. And I laid out the legislation they're trying to pass right now that would ban all civilian use of drones, have a monopoly of big corporations and government over it. This is a big deal. This is a psyop ahead of Trump getting in 34 days. From all the research and sources I have a lot of Pentagon sources, a lot of corporate sources in aeronautics, space aeronautics. They confirm this is a giant psyop, and that's happening. This is a giant psyop, just like all this different crap. And we're going to keep watching this whole UAP, UFO hysteria very, very closely.
Now,
He
last
seems to
thing
be
is
ahead of the curve on stuff sometimes, though.
Yeah,
As loony and crazy as he may seem, it seems like he's often tied into a little bit of information that other people
he
aren't getting.
flip flops, Christopher. He goes from
Oh, for
one
sure.
thing to the next. It's really it's it's neurotic. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because now, like when I go to walk my dogs at night and I'm looking up at the sky and I see a blink, I'm like, now I'm second guessing what I'm seeing. It could just be a plane. I stared at one the other night for probably about 2 minutes watching it go across the sky, just trying to figure out what it was. And I eventually just decided it was a plane. But there are definitely misidentifications. There are probably a ton of people seeing things that they are probably making up in their head.
Without a doubt.
And think of like War of the Worlds back in the day when that was on the radio.
Perfect.
And people went ape shit because they didn't know what was out there. And
that goes
we have
to
a
like
tendency to stir
Independence
our own
Day.
people up.
You remember
Yes.
Independence Day from the first one from the late 90s where we were going into the new millennium and they were like, check the skies. And I mean, I was in my late teens then, early 20s just about. And I can remember believing that, and I'm like, holy shit, we're being invaded. I didn't know it was a movie trailer, to be honest.
Remember the movie District 9?
Yeah. I remember that one. But there's a political aspect to this, too. Like, if we're talking about rogue material that got lost, you're talking the Sum of All Fears Clancy book, later made movie, two potentials. But there's a political aspect. They want a reverse War of the Worlds. They want more hysteria. Hysteria because they want the distraction, the deflection. Don't pay attention to what they're doing now.
Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain.
Exactly. There are all kinds of sabotage going on in D.C. and shit going on here in Lansing, too, in our lame duck session. They don't want anybody looking at that stuff.
Hey, Joe.
No,
play up
use
the
it as a
drone.
distraction, and they look for things to use as control points for people.
Yeah.
So you cause panic, you have some sort of common enemy for everyone, and then somebody's got a solution, and you have to follow certain steps to protect yourself, and maybe protecting yourself takes away certain rights you might have. Like there's so many possibilities.
The Grand Wizard of the Oz, I believe, is Joe Biden. He's the man behind the curtain. He's orchestrating all this madness of hysteria.
Well, he's certainly trying to stir the waters before he gets out of office. That's for sure.
Well, that's for damn
So,
certain.
so I mean, what is your take on it? And where are you guys at? You're in Detroit, both of you guys?
Yeah. No, well, Joe's in Detroit, and I'm actually in Atlanta, Georgia. I reside in two locations. I have two studios. I have a studio here in Atlanta, and then I have my main studio down in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, okay. And have you guys really heard anything about the drones up until the last few days? Because it's been something in the news for the last 40
I can
days
tell
up
you
here.
that, I've seen some, circulation of videos in the Atlanta area where there was possibly a few drone activity sightings around.
Savaged with Michael Gardner on Spotify.
Atlanta. But I mean, I was just in that area probably about a few hours ago. I was doing some work over there with a possible sponsor coming on the show here soon.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing anything. So, I mean, I'm going to go back there at night and see what they're talking about. But I think it's all fake. I really do. I think it's AI-generated video, and they're adding it into, actual stock footage of video. I really don't believe the hype behind this.
Some of it's real. Again, you don't
it's
shut
definitely
down
a real
airports.
thing as far as the actual drones. As far as what they're doing, I don't know if we know what that is, but there's definitely drones flying.
Well, Christopher, if I may, I'll expand a little bit more on it. The reason why I don't believe the hype on it, it goes back to, I mentioned briefly about COVID. I myself and a few selected, content creators or podcasters, however you want to label us.
Careful, we're on my YouTube channel.
Fuck YouTube. That's why they banned me, Joe. I can care less what YouTube says. I'm sorry if they ban you through me, so I do apologize. I don't take any responsibility for that because I'm a shotcaster. I'm not a podcaster. But I mean, I said the same thing with YouTube. Now you got me saying with YouTube. Now I said the same thing with COVID. Going back, now almost 3-4 years ago,
4 years.
that it was a conditioned, manipulated tactic to brainwash people. And now they're trying to do it with this UAP, UFO drone shit. And the sooner people wake up and realize that your government does these little tactics to cover up shit that they don't want you to see, the sooner we can go on with our society, Chris.
That's some
I
of
think
it.
there's always going to be somebody trying to capitalize on something. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be the smallest thing, but and they definitely want to distract you from stuff. But at the same time, there's if they're truly looking for something, like I mean, and not telling somebody, like, wouldn't you want to know?
Well, I'm gonna answer that question real quick. Okay, like that's what they were delivering with COVID, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to hide something, and they wanted us to figure out what the hell they were covering up. To this day, we're still trying to figure out the original truth of the origins of COVID.
Yeah, I mean,
some of
part
us
of it's
may
a
have
test
that.
of power.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's always rumor of dirty bomb or chemical. With what happened in Syria, chemical weapons have leaked out of that country now. God knows whose hands they're in. So, yeah, they're always going to be searching and sniffing for chemicals and radiation levels and radon and whatnot in case of terror. Having written a book on terrorism, that's always going to be an ongoing thing. But again, a cover story, morons, a cover story.
That's what they want. They want click and bait. That's all, or bait and switch.
Let me
however
ask
you
you
want to
guys
say.
a question. Prior to COVID, I was not a political guy in any way. I didn't care. I didn't pay attention. I didn't. I kind of took the world at face value, and sitting around locked in my house for a few months changed the way I think about government and how they treat us. And ever since then, like, I'm skeptical of everything I see. Whether it's in my favor or not in my favor, I'm like, I don't fucking believe this shit.
I can relate. I mean, I lost a lot of gigs through COVID. I mean, I set aside from this podcasting stuff I do, I dabble in the entertainment industry as a movie extra or sometimes a B-roll actor. And there was a lot of production companies where they wanted to go into this scenario where, well, we'll hire you as an extra, but we're going to have to put you in this green screen bubble for this one part. I'm like, what? A green? What do you want me to be, Bubble Boy? Like, what the fuck are you
People were
talking
just
about?
running on pure fear at the time.
Yeah. And I'm like, so what else do you want me to do? And they're like, well, we'll have you in this scene, but you're going to stay in this bubble. And other people are going to be next to you in their bubble. And we're going to do the editing as if you guys are together standing right next to each other. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. I walked off that fucking set. I walked off of like $5,000, potential $5,000.
You find out a year later that masks don't do anything. 6 feet of distancing doesn't do anything. It's just a made-up number.
We've known for 100 years the masks.
It's just a way to control everybody. And like I said, like I'm skeptical of everything I see. When I first started seeing the drones, I'm like, this is bullshit. And then I know too many people that have actually seen them. Like I like personally know people that have seen it, and my son took 3 videos the other night, so I'm like, all right. And I haven't seen any myself. I'll put it that way.
Christopher, they're little college nerds with nothing to do with their lives at that point, and they're just controlling it on their phones, and they're causing all this hysteria in the United States, and people are buying into the hysteria and the hype, and they're thinking that it's aliens invading Earth. That's all it is. They're just nerds.
I would love it if it wasn't real, as far as like, and
It's
again,
not real.
I'm talking to people I trust and I know, and they see them, and I have personal experience with these people where, like, if somebody tells me something, I'm going to take them at face value because I know them so well.
It's not real. I'll be the next. Yeah, I'll be the next podcaster. I'll be the next podcaster to say it. I was right about COVID, and I'm going to be right about these drones. It's all the hype. That's it.
Michael, you know I've got back channel sources regarding my terrorism book. Things I cannot share here. Some of it's fake. Some of it's drummed up hysteria, indeed, as you're saying, for deflection.
You're going to get a mix.
But a small percentage of it is a real big fucking open question and a problem until we have some real answers or something is done about it.
You know the problem with
like
this
the
whole
spy
thing?
book.
Yeah, you know the whole problem with this? When people stop drinking the Kool-Aid, Joe, that's when everything stops. They stopped drinking the Kool-Aid with COVID. Let's stop
Now,
drinking the Kool-Aid with this.
Are
with this
you
drone
of the
shit.
belief that it's not happening at all? Or are you of the belief that it's not what people think it is? Because I'm not sure what it is, but I'm of the belief that people are truly seeing it because I know too many people that have.
Okay, the video imagery
There's a
that may
difference.
be real, they may be, you know, drones and things that these people are attaching on the drone. I mean, you could buy like the people
Yeah,
are.
and I'm not talking about videos that people
Yeah.
have sent. I'm talking about people have actually placed eyes on something in the sky or multiple things on the sky without a video, and they've
I'm
told
talking
me about it.
about the ones that you're seeing in the sky that resemble some type of alien craft or whatever.
Yeah, I
You know,
think the
it's
ones that have like the plasma ball around them,
yeah,
those
yeah.
ones are a little questionable.
It's a drone, and people are fabricating it to make it look like it's unexplained phenomenon. That's
Yeah,
all.
there was a video the other day where some guy was shooting at the drone in New Jersey, and someone else posted the original video where there
Yeah, I
was no
seen that.
gunshots.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
seen that.
so there's definitely going to be some fake stuff.
Oh,
To
hoaxes,
say
yeah.
that there's nothing happening would be, I think, out of line because there's definitely some stuff going on. What it is the question, and the amount of drones. I personally think that they're searching for something, and I'm of the belief that it could be anything, but it's something that possibly needed to be found to protect the public.
Well, Christopher, I'm going to start questioning your credentials here. I noticed that you have.
I'm totally fine with that.
I noticed that you have some earpieces in your ear, and they
Yeah.
resemble a lot of CIA, FBI stuff. So, can you state on the record that you're not FBI?
I am
that
not
matters.
FBI, but what I am is totally wireless, is so I can walk around the room and listen to.
Okay.
to
No,
everything
you get what I
while
mean
we're
by
live.
that, right? You get.
Oh, for
I seen the
sure.
piece there for like 25. I'm like, this guy, I gotta ask him. You know?
Well, I used to wear headsets like yours, the exterior ones, and I have cauliflower ear from wrestling every day of the week, and so like nothing feels comfortable in my ears except for the ones that I can like stick inside my ear. Like you can see my ears are all just mangled. So the ones that sit inside my ear are comfortable, and I can talk for a long time with them in, and it's a lot more comfortable.
Well,
but I would certainly understand, and I'm not here to hype anyone up or scare anyone.
Yeah.
I'm questioning everything I see just the way you guys are. Like I don't believe it's aliens. I believe it's something that we're aware of, and it's partially designed to maybe control the public, and at the same time they might actually be looking for something.
I think it's bullshit.
Christopher,
I do.
Yeah, Christopher, I'm with you. Again, even if a small percentage,
Yeah.
and
I don't
all
believe
the
anything I see
terror
anymore.
possibilities can be real. But again, you got to come up with a cover story. But to play on Michael's line there, your denial means nothing, of course, because the FBI still says there were no FBI agents at January 6th. But we've got a list of 26 confidential informants. Well, yeah, they're not employees. So your language being careful there means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not careful.
And Michael, like it seems like you're quick to dismiss the whole entire thing.
I
where
am.
I
was quick
of the
to
belief
dismiss
that
the whole
something is
COVID thing.
happening, but I'm not sure what the
Savaged with Michael Gardner on Spotify.
I was quick to
I'm like
dismiss the
probably
COVID
a
stuff.
level above you right now.
Yeah. Again, I was quick to dismiss the COVID stuff, and I'm going to be quick to dismiss this UAP drone shit because I think it's all hype. They're covering
So
something
you're
up.
of the belief that there's no drones in the sky?
No, I believe that the drones that you are seeing, I believe that there are the drones, but it's not the hype that the government is.
No, I think we can all agree with that.
I don't know what it is.
They're playing up.
This had been a Truth Productions media episode. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. And never let a crisis go to waste, as you know they say.
Exactly.